Okay, let's just jump right in. If you've scrolled through shorts or reels lately, you have absolutely seen those wild AI-generated story channels pulling in millions of views. It's like a gold rush out there. But here's the catch. Behind the scenes, a ton of these creators are hitting a massive brick wall when it's time to actually cash in. In this explainer, we are completely unpacking a masterclass on how to build these automated channels in just a few minutes using free or freemium tools while actually dodging the demonetization trap so you get paid.
So why are so many of these channels failing to monetize? Well, here is the elephant in the room. While free AI tools are incredible, literally everyone is using the exact same ones, in the exact same way. Thousands of people are just ripping the same scripts from viral hits and using default AI settings. And guess what? YouTube is smart. The platform acts like a ruthless bouncer. It catches that duplicate material and instantly slaps the channel with a reused or repetitive content strike. To actually win here, you've got to inject unique value.
To help you bypass those algorithm traps, we're breaking this workflow down into 5 distinct steps: unique scripting, consistent visuals, adding motion, realistic voiceovers, and finally, editing for monetization.
Let's kick things off with step 1, unique scripting. Look, simply copy-pasting a famous channel's script word for word, that is a one-way ticket to getting your account flagged. But you also don't need to stare at a blank screen hoping for inspiration. The old way of just copying is totally dead. The new way? It's all about smart reverse engineering. You find a hit piece of content in your niche, say a crazy story about a soldier stopping a train robbery, and you grab that link, paste it into a transcript generator called kom.ai to pull the exact spoken text. Then, you toss that raw transcript right over to ChatGPT to use as your foundational inspiration. Now, the real secret sauce here is how you layer your prompts. You're not just saying, hey, write me a story. You're handing it the transcript and asking for 5 completely unique variations on that exact same theme. You tell it to swap out key details, maybe change the character's nationality, the location, or the main conflict. You can even have it output the final script in whatever language you need. But here's the real game changer. In that exact same prompt, you ask ChatGPT to break the new story into 6 scenes and generate both the static picture prompts and the motion prompts you're going to need later. Boom! You just automated your entire pre-production in one single click.
Moving right along to step 2, consistent visuals.
Because let's be real, a killer script means nothing if your main character's face morphs into a totally different person in every single shot. It completely ruins the illusion. To fix this changing face nightmare, you've got to lock in your character's look. Enter PicLumen, which is a fantastic free AI image generator. When you roll that first image and get a face you absolutely love, you grab what's called the seed number. You take that seed, plug it into their character reference tool, and crank the strength setting all the way to max for every single image you generate after that.
So your actual workflow is super straightforward. Just grab those awesome picture prompts ChatGPT whipped up for you and drop them into PicLumen. Make sure you set your aspect ratio to 9:16 so it's perfectly sized for vertical mobile screens. Apply that image reference trick we just talked about to keep your hero looking consistent, and then hit generate and download. Sticking to these exact steps guarantees your visuals look incredibly unified and polished. All right, on to step 3, adding motion.
Audiences today have zero attention span for a slideshow of static pictures, right? We need to breathe some cinematic life into this thing. For that, we turn to a tool called Halo AI. And the best part? They give you around 500 free credits to start. It is crazy simple to use. You just upload that consistent PicLumen image you generated, and right next to it, paste in the motion prompt ChatGPT already wrote for you. Something like, slow camera pan across the soldier's face as snow falls. Hit generate. Now, rendering motion takes a minute, so your best bet is to queue up all your images and prompts at once. Just let the AI do all the heavy lifting in the background while you jump over to sort out the audio.
Which brings us to step 4, realistic voiceovers. Now that our visuals are actually moving, we need a voice that sounds human enough to pull the viewer in and hold them until the very end. 11 Labs is hands down the industry standard here. You literally just paste your finalized ChatGPT script straight into their text-to-speech engine. And a quick tip, if you want maximum quality without dropping cash right away, stick to their top-rated default free voices. Voices named Adam or Brian are incredibly rich and sound super professional. Picking high-quality voices like those instantly gives your story that heavy, believable documentary feel it needs. Once it sounds right, just generate and download the file. Finally, we hit step 5, editing for monetization.
This right here is where you transform those raw AI files into a fully monetizable project that breezes right past the repetitive content filters. You pull everything into a free editor like CapCut, and you've got to use these 3 specific secrets. First up, always generate on-screen captions. It keeps people watching, sure,
But more importantly, it proves to the algorithm that you're actively layering new information. Second, slap on some custom filters, use smooth transitions, and tweak the color grading. Third, play with the audio. Don't just dump the 11 Labs track in and call it a day. Add subtle effects, maybe a little echo for internal thoughts, or boost the bass to make the narrator sound huge. These 3 tricks signal to the platform that you are manually adding massive creative value. You're not just a bot uploading raw files. You're an editor crafting an experience, and that is exactly what makes your content unique and, most importantly, monetizable.
So, when you step back and look at the whole picture, you've got a complete end-to-end tool stack for a highly profitable content engine. Look at how beautifully this flows. You start with com.ai and ChatGPT to lock in a bulletproof, completely unique script. Then Piclumen steps in to make sure your character looks exactly the same frame after frame. You toss those images into Halo AI for that sweeping cinematic motion, give the whole thing a soul with 11 Labs audio, and finally stitch it all together with algorithm-friendly edits in CapCut. It's a completely streamlined workflow going from a blank screen to a finished cash-generating product in minutes.
We've just walked through exactly how to avoid the traps that catch, honestly, like 90% of new AI creators. But here is the ultimate takeaway. AI is not a replacement for your creativity, it's a multiplier for it. The platforms out there aren't punishing AI, they're punishing laziness. So now that you're armed with the exact blueprint to bypass the filters and craft something genuinely unique, what boundary are you going to push first? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.